Hey guys, welcome to 2 Minute Talk here. This one is how often should I calibrate torque wrenches? Well, FYI, there is a standard ISO 6789 to calibrate clicker wrenches once a year, but there is no standard for powered equipment. So we've gone through and we've looked at what tools are being used in the industry, how often do they fail, and what can you do to make sure that your tools are staying within the calibration range. So the first step we did is we went into a refinery and we saw with these guys that if you take this little graphic away, that the majority of what people use is actually clickers, pneumatics, and batteries now. The hydraulics has moved down to about 15%. So 85% of a turnaround in a refinery, they're using the battery powered, the pneumatics, and that battery would be a lot higher if there was more batteries there. I guarantee you that. And then this is the clicker side. So we tested during this whole time. That was the whole gambit of what we tested of the percentages. But we tested 27 wrenches. After it came back, we would test it to see if it was within calibration. If it wasn't, set it in calibration, put it on the shelf. So guys would take it out the next day, and we would check them. And the initial data came back, and we looked at the number of uses and the max output and what we were looking at right here. And we found that basically everything ends up being around this 5% failure. You see batteries were a little bit higher, and the reason why we were using them at their low end, you should always use tools that are between like 30 and 80% of their stated range. That's where their like wheelhouse is. You start getting below the 30%, you're going to start seeing a couple like it just doesn't end up being that plus or minus 5%, right? It's just a little bit off there. So we saw a couple of those. So that 7.2, I'm not worried about it. That should probably drop down to about 4%. The hydraulic low profile had a failure rate of 4.4. There's not a lot of data points there, so that's kind of higher than what we would expect, right? And the pneumatics, it was the same thing. We were using them on the low end. So what we found is that you're probably going to expect a 3 to 5% failure rate of the plus or minus 5% tolerance that most manufacturers say. So how do you fix that glitch? Here's two things that we do to fix that glitch. One, we don't get paid if you guys buy these things. We don't get paid if you buy any tools. We're just here to give you guys knowledge and a mousetrap. Just giving you a heads up on that. Norbar's got a really good torque tester that you can stick on a bench. They got it for clicker wrenches, and they also have it for like putting out in the field, like this little clicker guy right there. Rad also makes this what they call a smart socket. It's square drive only. You can't use it with low profiles, and you can't really use the other one with low profiles. But this guy right here, you stick it on the end of the square drive, and you can check your torque and just make sure your wrench is actually putting out what it's supposed to do. So our recommendation is calibrate all of your tools once a year, but do a verification check with them, right? Periodically, depending upon what you think should be. Maybe you start doing it at once a week, and then you see you don't need to do it once a week. You can move it to once a month, right? Start seeing how your usage should dictate your verification and your testing protocol for your tools. But there's a couple things that we've introduced right here. If you'd like more information on this, please email us at info@hextechnology.com. We'll set up an appointment. We'll take you through everything we did in detail. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care.